The strongest women are not the ones who receive the most applause. They are the ones who keep moving forward even when no one is watching. The greatest mistake many people make is believing that value is something the world hands to them. They wait for approval before they trust themselves. They wait for compliments before they feel beautiful. They wait for recognition before they believe they are capable. But the truth is, anything that depends on another person's opinion can disappear the moment that opinion changes. When your confidence is built on applause, silence becomes your greatest fear. When your worth depends on acceptance, rejection becomes your greatest enemy. A woman of value chooses a different path. She understands that identity is built from within before it is ever recognized from the outside. She doesn't ask the world for permission to become extraordinary. She decides first, and then her actions make that decision visible. Identity is not something you discover while looking in a mirror. Identity is created through the promises you keep to yourself every single day. Every morning offers a choice. You can wake up asking, how can I impress people today? Or you can ask, how can I become a better version of myself today? One question creates anxiety because it gives other people control over your emotions. The other creates freedom because your growth is completely within your control. Think about the strongest foundations ever built. They are buried beneath the ground where nobody can admire them. Yet without that hidden strength, every beautiful building eventually collapses. Your character works the same way. Most people will notice your appearance before they notice your integrity. They will notice your achievements before they understand your sacrifices. But the invisible foundation is always what determines how high you can rise without falling. Identity is formed by repetition. Every difficult conversation you choose to have instead of avoiding it strengthens your courage. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your integrity. Every distraction you resist strengthens your discipline. Day after day, these small decisions shape the person you become. Confidence is no longer something you chase. It becomes the natural result of living according to your values. There will always be voices telling you who you should become. Some will encourage you to fit in. Others will expect you to shrink so they can feel comfortable. Many will define success by popularity, appearance, or comparison. But a woman who knows her identity listens to those voices without allowing them to determine her direction. She measures her life against her principles instead of someone else's expectations. The world often rewards performance before character. It celebrates visibility before substance. But lasting influence has never been built on pretending to be someone else. People may admire perfection for a moment, but they trust authenticity for a lifetime. When you stop performing for approval, you begin living with purpose. That purpose gives you a calm confidence that cannot be shaken by criticism or inflated by praise. Not everyone will understand your decisions. Some relationships may change when your standards become higher. Some opportunities may disappear when you refuse to compromise your values. That is not failure. That is the natural consequence of choosing authenticity over acceptance. Every meaningful transformation requires leaving behind a version of yourself that depended on external validation. The woman who becomes truly valuable is not trying to prove her worth every day. She already knows it. That certainty changes the way she speaks, the way she walks, the way she leads, and the way she treats others. She no longer competes for attention because she is focused on building character. She no longer fears rejection because rejection cannot remove what was never given by another person in the first place. Your identity becomes your compass when the world becomes confusing. It reminds you what you stand for when circumstances become difficult. It keeps you humble during success and resilient during failure. Long before others recognize your value, you must choose to live as someone who already possesses it. That single decision becomes the beginning of a life defined not by validation, but by purpose, integrity, and unshakable self-respect. The moment you begin respecting yourself, you stop negotiating with the people and habits that quietly steal your peace. Self-respect is one of the rarest forms of strength because it often requires disappointing others before it protects you. Many people confuse kindness with endless availability. They believe being a good person means saying yes to everything, accepting every excuse, and carrying burdens that were never theirs to carry. Over time, they become exhausted, not because life is too difficult, but because they have allowed everyone else to decide where their energy belongs. A woman of value understands something different. She knows that every meaningful life is protected by clear boundaries. Boundaries are not walls built to keep people out. They are gates that allow the right people in while keeping disrespect from becoming comfortable. They are not created from anger, they are created from clarity. They communicate one simple message: this is how I choose to live, and this is how I expect to be treated. People often reveal what they believe about your value by the way they respond to your boundaries. Those who genuinely respect you will adjust without resentment. Those who benefited from your lack of boundaries may resist, criticize, or attempt to make you feel guilty. That reaction tells you more about the relationship than any words ever could. A healthy relationship grows stronger through mutual respect. An unhealthy one becomes uncomfortable when accountability appears. Every time you ignore your own standards to avoid conflict, you send yourself a dangerous message. You begin teaching your own mind that keeping other people happy is more important than honoring your own values. Eventually, that habit becomes your identity. You smile while carrying disappointment. You remain silent while your principles are ignored. You convince yourself that peace means avoiding difficult conversations when true peace often begins with having them. Self-respect asks a different question. Instead of asking whether people will approve of your decision, it asks whether you will be proud of your decision tomorrow. That question changes everything. It shifts your focus from temporary comfort to lasting integrity. The strongest choices are rarely the easiest in the moment, but they create a future where your character remains intact. Boundaries are also promises you make to yourself. They protect your time from constant distraction. They protect your mind from unnecessary negativity. They protect your heart from repeated disappointment. They protect your purpose from being replaced by endless obligations that never truly mattered. Every meaningful dream requires protected space to grow. Without boundaries, even the greatest potential becomes buried beneath constant interruptions. Many people fear that saying no will make them appear selfish. In reality, saying yes to everything often means saying no to the life you were meant to build. Every unnecessary commitment consumes energy that could have been invested in your growth, your family, your purpose, or your peace. Time is limited. Attention is limited. Emotional strength is limited. A wise woman spends these resources intentionally instead of allowing others to spend them for her. There will be moments when protecting your boundaries feels uncomfortable. Some people may misunderstand your intentions. Others may accuse you of changing. They are correct. You are changing. You are becoming someone who no longer sacrifices self-respect for acceptance. Growth always changes the expectations that people have of you. Not everyone will celebrate that transformation, but your future depends on it. Real confidence is quiet because it does not need to explain every decision. It understands that not every opinion deserves an answer, and not every disagreement deserves your energy. Silence becomes powerful when it is guided by wisdom rather than fear. Walking away becomes strength when staying would require abandoning your values. A woman of value is recognized not only by what she welcomes into her life, but also by what she refuses to tolerate. She chooses honesty over manipulation, peace over unnecessary drama, purpose over distraction, and respect over temporary approval. Her standards become visible through her daily decisions. She no longer apologizes for protecting her well-being because she understands that the quality of her life will always reflect the quality of the boundaries she is willing to maintain. The world will continually test your standards, but every time you choose self-respect over people-pleasing, you strengthen your character. Every boundary you honor becomes another reminder that your value is not measured by how much you sacrifice for acceptance, but by how faithfully you live according to the principles that define who you truly are. Confidence is not born from motivation. It is earned through the promises you keep to yourself when no one is watching. Many people spend years searching for confidence, believing it will arrive after success, recognition, or the perfect opportunity. They tell themselves that once they feel ready, they will finally take action. But confidence has never worked that way. It does not appear before action. It grows because of action. Every courageous decision, every disciplined habit, and every commitment you honor becomes another piece of evidence that you can trust yourself. A woman of value does not wait until she feels inspired to move forward. She understands that feelings change from day to day, but discipline remains available every single morning. There will be days when energy is high and everything feels possible. There will also be days when doubt whispers louder than hope. On those days, discipline becomes more valuable than emotion because it keeps moving long after excitement disappears. Think about the strongest tree in a forest. It did not become strong during calm weather. It became strong because it remained rooted through every storm. The same principle applies to character. Every challenge you face with consistency strengthens your ability to face the next one. Every obstacle overcome through discipline becomes proof that you are capable of more than your fears once suggested. The promises you make to yourself matter more than the promises you make to anyone else. Every time you say you will wake up early and you do, your self-trust grows stronger. Every time you finish what you started instead of quitting when it becomes uncomfortable, your identity changes. Every small act of consistency tells your mind that your words have meaning. Confidence is simply the result of believing your own commitments because you have honored them repeatedly. Many people compare themselves to those who appear successful. They see polished results without seeing the years of ordinary discipline behind them. Great lives are rarely built through dramatic moments. They are built through ordinary choices repeated with extraordinary consistency. Reading when others waste time, learning when others complain, practicing when others make excuses, resting with intention so they can return stronger tomorrow. The habits may seem small, but their impact compounds over time. Discipline also creates freedom. At first, it may feel restrictive because it asks you to say no to distractions that promise immediate comfort. But every disciplined decision opens the door to greater opportunities later. The discipline to protect your health creates energy. The discipline to improve your skills creates confidence. The discipline to manage your emotions creates stronger relationships. What appears difficult in the beginning often becomes the very thing that makes life easier in the future. There will always be moments when quitting seems reasonable. You will question your progress. You will wonder whether your efforts matter because the results are not yet visible. Those moments reveal the difference between interest and commitment. Interest works only when circumstances are convenient. Commitment continues regardless of circumstances. A woman of value chooses commitment because she understands that meaningful transformation is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The greatest competition is never against another person. It is against the version of yourself that wants immediate comfort instead of lasting growth. Every disciplined decision is a victory over that voice. Every time you choose purpose over procrastination, preparation over excuses, and consistency over convenience, you become stronger than you were yesterday. That strength cannot be borrowed, purchased, or given by someone else. It must be earned. Real confidence is quiet because it no longer depends on convincing other people. It comes from knowing that you have faced difficult mornings, uncomfortable conversations, unexpected setbacks, and moments of uncertainty without abandoning your values. You trust yourself because experience has taught you that you will continue moving forward even when progress is slow. The world often celebrates talent, but talent without discipline eventually fades. Discipline transforms potential into achievement. It transforms dreams into daily action. It transforms uncertainty into resilience. Most importantly, it transforms ordinary people into individuals who inspire others simply by the consistency of their character. A woman of value does not build her confidence by waiting for life to become easier. She builds it by becoming stronger through disciplined choices made every single day. Each promise she keeps to herself becomes another brick in the foundation of her identity. Over time, that foundation becomes so strong that criticism cannot break it, failure cannot define it, and temporary setbacks cannot stop it. Because she knows that the confidence she carries was earned through discipline that no challenge can ever take away. The women who change the world are rarely the ones chasing attention. They are the ones relentlessly committed to a purpose greater than themselves. One of the greatest distractions in modern life is the pursuit of popularity. It promises acceptance, admiration, and recognition, but it rarely delivers lasting fulfillment. Popularity asks you to become whatever people want you to be. Purpose asks you to become who you were meant to be. Those two paths may appear similar at the beginning, but they lead to completely different destinations. A woman of value understands that applause is temporary, but purpose has the power to shape an entire lifetime. She does not wake up asking how many people will notice her today. She wakes up asking what meaningful difference she can make today. That single shift in perspective changes the way she thinks, the way she works, and the way she measures success. Her focus is no longer on collecting approval, it is on creating impact. Many people lose themselves because they spend too much time trying to fit into someone else's expectations. They change their opinions to avoid criticism, they hide their dreams to avoid judgment. They remain silent because they fear rejection. Slowly, they become strangers to themselves. They gain acceptance from others while losing connection with their own identity. Nothing is more exhausting than living a life designed to satisfy everyone except the person living it. Purpose demands courage because it often requires walking a road that few people understand. There will be moments when your vision seems too ambitious. There will be days when your progress feels invisible. Some people may question your decisions because they cannot see what you see. But purpose has never depended on immediate understanding. Every meaningful achievement in history began with someone willing to continue before the world believed it was possible. Imagine an arrow being pulled backward before it moves forward. To someone watching, it may appear as though it is moving in the wrong direction. Yet that backward pull is exactly what gives it the power to reach its destination. Life often works the same way. Delays prepare you, challenges strengthen you, moments of isolation clarify your priorities. What seems like a setback may actually be the preparation your purpose requires. A woman driven by purpose is no longer controlled by comparison. She celebrates the success of others without feeling threatened, because she understands that every person has a unique assignment. Flowers do not compete with mountains. Rivers do not compete with oceans. Each fulfills its purpose by becoming exactly what it was created to be. The same is true for people. Comparison steals energy that could have been invested in growth. Purpose also transforms the way you handle failure. When your goal is popularity, criticism feels devastating because your identity depends on public opinion. When your goal is purpose, criticism becomes information instead of destruction. You learn, adapt, improve, and continue moving forward. Temporary setbacks lose their power because they are no longer the final destination. They become part of the journey. There will always be opportunities to choose comfort instead of calling. There will be invitations to settle for what is easy instead of what is meaningful. The easier path may offer immediate rewards, but purpose asks for something greater. It asks for patience when results are slow. It asks for integrity when shortcuts appear attractive. It asks for consistency when motivation disappears. Those choices shape a life that cannot be measured by applause alone. The most influential women rarely spend their energy proving their importance. They invest that energy in becoming useful, trustworthy, and dependable. They understand that real influence is earned through service, character, and consistency. Long after attention fades, the lives they touch continue to reflect the impact they created. That is the difference between being remembered for your image and being remembered for your contribution. There will come a time when trends change, opinions shift, and public attention moves elsewhere. Popularity fades because it depends on circumstances you cannot control. Purpose remains because it is rooted in something deeper than recognition. It becomes the reason you continue when nobody notices, the strength that keeps you standing when others walk away, and the direction that guides every important decision. A woman of value does not chase the spotlight because she knows that light naturally follows those who live with conviction. She chooses purpose over popularity, contribution over comparison, character over applause, and legacy over attention. In doing so, she builds a life that cannot be measured by the number of people who admired her, but by the number of lives that became stronger, wiser, and more hopeful, because she had the courage to live according to her purpose. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the strongest. True greatness belongs to the woman whose character speaks long before her words ever do. The world often celebrates what is loud, visible, and impossible to ignore. It rewards attention, constant recognition, and the ability to remain in the spotlight. Yet history tells a different story. The people who leave the deepest mark are often not the ones who demanded attention. They are the ones whose quiet strength changed lives through integrity, consistency, and unwavering character. Their influence was never measured by the volume of their voice, but by the depth of their actions. A woman of value understands that strength does not need to announce itself. It is reflected in the way she responds when life becomes difficult. Anyone can appear confident when circumstances are easy. Quiet strength is revealed when expectations collapse, when plans fail, when criticism arrives, and when no one is standing beside you. It is the calm decision to continue moving forward without allowing hardship to change your character. Many people mistake silence for weakness because they believe every challenge deserves an immediate reaction. They defend themselves against every opinion. They argue over every misunderstanding. They chase the final word as if winning a conversation means winning in life. But wisdom understands something different. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every criticism deserves your attention. Sometimes the strongest response is allowing your actions to become the answer that words could never provide. Quiet strength is built through emotional discipline. It is the ability to remain composed when others lose control. It is choosing patience when frustration seems easier. It is showing kindness without expecting applause. It is refusing to let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. A calm mind can see opportunities that an angry mind will always overlook. The woman who masters her emotions gains a level of freedom that no circumstance can easily take away. There will be seasons when your growth goes unnoticed. You will work hard while someone else receives recognition. You will stay faithful to your principles while shortcuts seem to reward others more quickly. During those moments, remember that the greatest trees spend years growing roots before anyone admires their height. Lasting success is always supported by invisible preparation. Character develops quietly before influence becomes visible. The greatest legacy is never built by trying to impress people. It is built by serving people with excellence. Every encouraging word you speak, every promise you keep, every act of honesty when no one is watching becomes part of the story you leave behind. People rarely remember every achievement you collected, but they remember how safe they felt around your integrity, how inspired they were by your courage, and how your presence made them believe that they could become better themselves. A woman driven by quiet strength does not compare her journey with someone else's timeline. She understands that every meaningful life unfolds at its own pace. She is patient with the process because she knows that rushing often produces fragile results. Growth that takes time usually develops deeper roots. It creates wisdom instead of pride, resilience instead of entitlement, and humility instead of arrogance. There will always be pressure to prove your value through appearance, status, or recognition. The world may encourage you to seek validation through visibility, but true influence has never depended on being seen by everyone. It depends on remaining faithful to your values, even when no one is watching. Integrity practiced in private eventually becomes a reputation that cannot be manufactured. Quiet strength also means lifting others without demanding credit. It means celebrating another woman's success instead of feeling threatened by it. It means choosing encouragement over envy, collaboration over competition, and generosity over self-promotion. A secure woman understands that helping someone else rise never causes her to fall. In fact, the people who leave the greatest legacy are often those who spent their lives empowering others to discover their own potential. Time eventually reveals the difference between image and character. Image may attract attention for a season, but character earns trust for a lifetime. Attention fades, trends disappear, popular opinions change. Yet honesty, compassion, resilience, and integrity remain valuable in every generation. These qualities outlive achievements because they continue shaping lives long after titles and accomplishments have been forgotten. A woman of value understands that legacy is not created in one extraordinary moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary decisions, made with extraordinary faithfulness. Every time she chooses truth over convenience, courage over fear, humility over pride, and purpose over recognition, she strengthens the legacy she is creating. Long after her words have faded, her example continues to inspire. Long after her achievements are no longer discussed, her character continues to influence. Quiet strength becomes the gift she leaves behind, proving that the greatest lives are remembered not because they demanded attention, but because they consistently reflected wisdom, compassion, resilience, and unwavering integrity.